This episode contains sensitive topics. Discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome back to an all-new episode of the Lusty Lounge podcast. Sit back, relax, and allow us to indulge you in some degenerate type bullshit. I don't think I can say that within 20 seconds of YouTube, so future Suna, fix that. Joining me, we still have our trainee in training, Noodle.
It's me. Hello. Hi.
And this time we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Fumo slash Smug of Monster Box Games. I produce all the stuff, and I make music and write on the side, basically. Yeah. Hello.
I learned something today. I can say that.
Yeah. It's pretty basic,
Only
honestly.
only been awake for 40 minutes, but learning stuff is good.
No worries.
I guess we'll start at the beginning. Why did you want to make horny games?
For one, I'm hypersexual, so my career choices were pretty fucking low. I could either go into Pokemon and become a game freak, or I could essentially become
Ha
a
ha!
game freak.
Funny. I mean, after okay, all right. So we're recording this like halfway through October. The Pokemon had like okay, not Pokemon. Game Freak had a huge database breach. Um, I'm under the impression that I'm gonna assume like a decade ago when Gen 4 was still cool, uh people were taking the fan art a little too
Yep.
seriously, and Game Freak went, "Oh, we can put that in our game." And I'm like, "Hey, yo, whoa, 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 whoa." Not all Typhlosions.
No, Typhlosions. That was so fucked up when I first heard about that. I was like, you literally have these little fan fictions that aren't lore at all. It's just a bunch of creatives making stuff and having fun
Yep.
with it. The only question I really had about that whole situation is why did you leave that on the flash drive? Like you could have
Yeah.
removed that at any point,
Mm-hmm.
and
Any point.
you chose not to. You just chose not to. Is really interesting.
That's a word for it. It just makes all of my I don't want to say this. It makes all the art I've seen over the last few years more lore accurate. Let's go with that.
Honestly, well, I cannot say if it's true or not. Seeing the way that that company in particular does its marketing, yeah, they're kind of the fan art and all that stuff is quite obvious. Their opinions of it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say what it is, but it's pretty obvious right now.
I mean, we are in a business, so technically I can say it, but I'm not going to because reasons. I don't want the Nintendo Ninjas to come after me. So, so I guess we can start with In Heat
hmm
because I don't own it. I gifted it to Puce. I have no memory of doing that. I have no memory of gifting it to Puce, but like Steam said I did, and Steam doesn't lie. So I'm like, we
Sometimes
should
that
play
glitch
it a
just
little.
happens, you know. Some glitches just happen. You have to just take it in
Uh,
stride.
he enjoyed. We enjoyed the game for the hour or so we played. I have like 6 questions.
Okay.
We'll get to those later.
Okay.
What made you want to make a Five Nights at Freddy's inspired game?
Big fan of the character designs that I've seen on Twitter recently. Cali 3D, Cryptia Curves, however you name them, they're just a fantastic artist, and I've had a lot of appreciation for them. And when you look at the situation surrounding their models and VR chat models, you see a lot of people just kind of using the models as their own thing, even for video games and
Mm-hmm.
such. And when I saw that, I was just like, yo, I don't kind of agree with this. I believe that the artist should get paid.
Yes,
So,
always.
under that situation, I decided, let's just try it out and see if it's successful. And we did a game jam and we aced it. The game was a bit rough at the start. Now it's a heck of a lot better. I'm actually liking how things are running now. Whereas originally it
Yeah,
was just like everything was put together so fast that it was really hard to keep track of everything because it was a game jam game. And when you're doing a game jam, you're just sitting there, just kind of looking at a screen for pretty much until you fall asleep. And you're just coding, you're just in the flow state the entire day, and it just sucks. It fucking sucks. And
I
to
can
bring
imagine.
organization to that was really debilitating to a degree, but we got it done.
Yeah, from what we what we played, we enjoyed it.
Hmm.
I personally, I was under the impression that once they got in the room, that's it, game's over. But we kept playing, and we're like, oh, we won't just game over. Hell
I
yeah,
mean, you don't
because
just go
Q
into the
sucks at
bedroom,
these
do it
games.
once, and then leave, right? That was my opinion of the situation on that one.
You know what? Fair. So I or counterpoint, you do nothing at all, like me at work, and just stand there.
Damn, I remember when I was a cashier. I definitely agree with you on that one.
I'm a warehouse. I'm a warehouse worker.
Oh, oh, I don't know which one I preferred. Actually, was the warehouse work or the restaurant work? Equally as
Uh,
debilitating, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Noodle, you asked something. You knew what this was.
Do you have any more plans to do like more horny, scary games?
Well, personally, yeah, because when I look at who I look up to in the game design sphere, I think of um the Higurashi no Nakakona ni series. I think about the Umineko no
Holy
Nakakona ni
fuck.
series, two very iconic series that basically were my childhoods. So I already kind of grew up with that sort of horror bone in my body.
Understandable. I grew up with horror as
Um,
well. That would be a very
there's
interesting experience.
there's other
I'm
things
scared.
besides Higurashi too. There's like another. There's Saya no Uta, which yeah. Um,
Stroking my
Madoka,
horror
of course.
boner.
There's a lot of just straight up perfect Japanese, horror, and it falls a bit more into the psychology too, which I
Oh, I
hope I
love the
can bring
psychology of video
into in
games.
Heat. Yeah, I hope I can bring some of that psychology, some of that psychological horror into in Heat. It is a bit more difficult to do with one of these sorts of games, but hopefully we can do more. But I it has been on the burner to make a more female um keyed game using our engine. So by that I mean there's a lot of people that bring in the question about what if there was a more feminine protagonist. And under that, I believe once we have enough, funds and all that stuff for Monster Box, I think a game where you're a female or maybe it could be whatever heck you want to be, but to kind of switch the dynamic from okay, you got these big, busty girls coming at you. Now we have these just gigantic, scary, masculine things, and you're just trying to protect yourself from that sort of thing. I think that would be immensely successful after In Heat is, released. Heck, I don't even have to do that game. I wish I could see that game come out because I think, especially with the Pokemon, like, obviously, it makes money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't. I'm only gonna moderately disagree with you. I think you should make that game, especially once Eat in Heat is actually done and completed, because you'll have a better sense of how to make it. Because that's how game development works. You make the first thing to learn how to make games, and then you make the second thing because the second thing is what you wanted to make the first time. I think I've played the Xenoblade games. I have an idea of what I'm talking about. I don't know if I'm right, but I think I'm right.
Yeah, when it comes to that, I, I, I I'm sure my team could do a fantastic job with something like that, but there are preferences that I have versus other people, and I believe that
Okay.
someone with a little bit more preferences towards certain content would do a better job than I would.
Okay. No, that's fair. First of all, you scared the shit out of me replying in 3 minutes. I even told Pews that I'm like, all right, I'm at a red light. Let me type out this message real quick. All right, cool. I hit the corner, my phone went off. I'm like, why the fuck's my phone going off?
I'm just there.
So how did you decide I'm gonna make this company? Because you don't just make games. Well, you have 3 games.
Do you want me to answer
If
this
Discord.
correctly or in a way that'll sound good on your podcast?
Oh, I don't care. Listen, honesty is the best
Okay,
policy.
so I'll be honest on this one. Technically, in order to get access to a Steam account, you need to have some sort of tax ID number. Um, I just felt like it was a
Mm-hmm.
bit better taxes wise to have a company than to not have a company. And hopefully we can expand upon the company later, but basically the US tax rates are mean, and
Yeah.
even under LLC they are mean, but you get a couple of tricks that you can do that will help you and your company, grow. Like there's a lot of government funds that they'll just be like, "Hey, you're a new business owner. Here you go. Here's this, here's that." And while some of them will be not interested in lewd content, some of them are. And yeah, while things are opening up more for, erotic games and erotic content, we still are lacking a lot of support from the upper echelon of our community, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
You'll probably definitely need to make an LLC sooner or later, and if you need any assistance with that, I wouldn't mind helping out, but it's kind of what you need nowadays. The only drawbacks is that often when you create a business, you have a lot of, documentation that you need to file, and shit sucks.
That's fine. I'm fine with paperwork. And worst case scenario, I go up to my friend's job and go, hey, mail this for me. That's what you do. So worst case scenario.
You are the mailer.
So we did play your game
Hmm.
briefly. We loved all the character designs. How did you go from okay, I want to make a game, I want to sell these character models, I want to make merchandise? Like, how did all this happen?
You're Well, the best way to put it is that it was a Black Swan event.
I don't know what that means. I'm dumb.
Well, a Black Swan event is basically a historic event that a lot of things just go right. It's like a miracle. Black Swan events are categorized as
Mm.
being bad events, like a certain 9/11, and then good events. I
Okay.
have no data, no nothing that could basically be given to a hobbyist studio and to see them, immediately go to success. But I think the best thing to say is to just stick by your guns, be horny. If people tell you that shit doesn't work, especially if they aren't big shots themselves, you shouldn't
Okay.
be poised to believe them. You should try to force your own path pretty much as possible.
Oh my god, are you saying it's okay to fail on your first
It
try?
is, I have failed a lot, and it's perfectly fine too. But
See, guys, it's
yeah,
fine.
you gotta, or else you're just going to. You will never be ready for the burst amount of. Uh, what's the best way to put this? When you finally make it, and you start. And keep in mind that I'm not kind of there, and I'm not. I haven't made it per se.
Disagree.
I mean, we could agree and
Mildly
disagree.
disagree.
This is a podcast for those things, but when the event actually happens and you have suddenly, okay, you made 20K in a week, or oh, I have a
Ugh.
bunch of people DMing me on Twitter, or oh, we have a bunch of questions, oh, the subscribe star's up high. Nothing's going to ready yourself for what's going to happen during that situation. You suddenly have so many things you can do on a daily basis that you kind of get overwhelmed. And throughout that introduction to In Heat, getting popular, all that stuff, I was just kind of like blown away for the first half of that year. It was just so fucking cool to see something that I was working on for most of my life, to actually see that first batch of people look at your thing and say that it's cool and then become fans of you. The first time that actually happens is just it changes you. And hopefully it changes you into a better person, as I've seen from several other content creators that are not in our sphere. It can go a very bad way as well.
I have to respect the professionalism to not just name drop people because that's what I'm about to do.
Do
You're
it.
free to name drop.
Oh,
I could talk about it too. I'm not name dropping though.
I was gonna say, just you don't need to be super professional here. This isn't that type of show yet. Maybe I don't know.
Still
Um,
finding the ground.
no, because you said you listened to the Lewd Logic episode, and I sat there and went, "Oh yeah, ah fuck."
He's kind of one of those dudes.
No, he's a nigga.
Yeah, he's one of those
I
dudes.
can say that. I'm also black. It's the fact you listened to the episode and went, someone I know agreed to do the thing, so I will also do the thing. I'm like, does that mean we're doing good? Does that mean we're doing bad? I don't I don't know how to gauge our success, so I'm kind of just here. Audience, I promise we will get to actual degeneracy. I just need to have game dev talk because it's hard to talk to devs because they're always making the game.
And it's hard to talk to Lewid Logic because he's a bit of a marketer. Um,
Yeah, well, he has products he wants to make slash sell. I get
yeah,
that.
you saw the NTR Holic stuff.
It's it's I don't one. I'm not a super big fan of visual novels, so I'm like,
Mm.
eh. And then he's like, it's NTR, and I'm like, I don't want that.
Oh yeah, I
It's like
share
the
the same
one thing
thing
I
as
don't
you do
want.
on NTR. I think it's stupid. And that might get a lot of hate thrown my way, but I don't care.
I kind of like
NTR
NTR.
is
Fair.
stupid.
No, you're right.
I
Sorry.
mean, what I mean,
Hmm.
cuckoldry has that defeatism sort of vibe in it,
I
and
like
you can
defeatism. That's hot. Break
defeatism is
down.
in there, but the defeatism is you standing next to a window, kind of looking in, watching the person that you've basically sworn your life to protect or love, whatever, and you're just letting them get fucked by someone else. I mean, that's fine in fantasy and all that stuff, but like you see it so often now, at least in social
Yeah.
media communities and all that stuff. It's no longer like the joke. It's more like a reality for a lot of these people, which is sad because true
Very.
love is a magical thing, and to have a situation where you have a partner, that's completely, tantric with you is something that these people probably will not be able to really ascertain. But I will say that orc sex and werewolf sex is pretty pogger. Love that stuff.
We will get orc massage at some point. All right, audience. This is potentially one of the last like technical type questions I'll ask. So we were going to stream this game on Twitch as a joke. And then I went, no, I think Twitch would come for us, even though In Heat is not on the band's game list.
Shouldn't be on that band
So all that
list. We work hard to keep it off.
with all that being said, where do you think would be a good place to actually stream adult games? Like why is it not just like a readily common thing?
Well, well, my good friend, I will tell you the best place to go would be Fansly if they paid me any money to sponsor them. In which case, I would have to say that if you're looking for a safe work environment, the YouTube is probably the best place. I've seen
We
a.
don't want safer work. We want to stream your game.
Do you want
What
titties on full
the
display?
fuck?
Yes.
Yes.
Then
We wanted to do a let's play of what the Flip Witch, but we can't. So I'm like, what? How do we do
then what
this?
I would recommend is because I've looked into, starting a streaming server and all that stuff. It's kind of expensive and you don't want to do it. So the thing you do instead is get yourself a Fansly and then um basically while you have the ability of like, oh, you can support our content and all that stuff, you also have live streaming available on that platform. And I
All
see
right.
a
So why
lot of
Fansly?
VTubers use
Yeah,
specifically Fansly.
Fifi. Yeah, yeah. Fifi's a problem. So is Melody. Those are side points. But why Fansly over Patreon?
Flick of a switch, my friend. When it comes to Fansly, they do not pay me any money, so I can't talk about their cool stuff. But I've never really seen if OnlyFans actually does streaming. Do they actually do streaming?
I have no
I've
idea.
never seen it.
I only know
I've never seen it.
Patreon does it because they were
Fuck.
like, "This is a new feature we have," and I'm like,
Patreon
oh,
is
"Okay."
is not a platform you should be using.
Oh.
Oh, I need you to explain. If it's sensitive stuff, we can't cut it
Oh, yeah.
because I'm a
If I
decent
say
editor.
anything
But
bad, just let me know. When it comes to like Patreon, you want stability to be your backbone when you're a not safe for work content creator. And when you look at specifically like a site like Subscribestar or Fansly, these are both
mhm,
sites that have a bunch of lewd content on them, and they don't seem to really censor or get their hands dirty in any sort of way with their content creators.
mhm.
Um, when it comes to Patreon, there's a lot of people that swear by it, which, I mean, if you're making a lot of money on Patreon, go ahead. There's no problems with it. But when you do this for 8 years, and every year you see more and more content creators just get ejected from the platform, you don't really want to put in a bid for its stability at all. And there's not just like there's a lot of people using Patreon, and when it comes to like Patreon, there's a lot of content creators that use it, and due to the fact that there's so many content creators that use it, you're already going to be basically kind of fighting with other content creators on the platform already for that $5 bill.
Yeah.
And there's
Okay.
huge creators that are making way more money than you. And they're going to be stealing up the spotlight half the time.
Hmm. Okay.
That's one way to really look at it, is that you don't have a lot of ability to like market your I'm trying to put this in a way that's avoiding something very important. Let me dial it back a little bit. So when it comes
Okay.
to like Patreon, they attack allegedly they attack people that do hyperluid art. I've seen friends of mine get banned from the platform for Anthro X human content. They have a set of rules, and unless you're super vanilla with your content or already big and friends with them, I don't really see any growth you can have on that platform. You
All
can't,
right.
if you cannot, if in heat. is not okay on Patreon, then I can't recommend anybody who wants to make a living and not safe for work, you know, to go to that site. If you're a little bit safe for work, if you're doing YouTubing, if you're like Andrew Callahan, go ahead. I would say Patreon's a beautiful place for you. There is so much on that Patreon, so many artists that have been kicked off of Patreon that and good content too. It's not like obvious shit like Shadmat. Like
Oh,
you
that's a name I
don't.
Said
haven't
that.
heard in a while.
That's a name that's there's a reason you have a reaction to that name. Patreon
Yeah,
knows why
yeah.
you have a reaction to that name, and yeah, that shit's bad. I didn't think we're actually gonna get off on a talk about subscription-based platforms. But
Listen, anything's possible here.
Yeah.
if we're gonna talk about the good stuff, like I want to stay positive and talk about the good aspect. Patreon has its good aspects, it has its negative aspects. I think if you're a content creator, the best thing you can do is get yourself set up on a Subscribestar or Fansly. As long as it's a site that only caters to the not safe for work, you're gonna be perfectly fine because you're gonna be a lot more protected. It's gonna be one of the biggest things about being a not safe for work content creator is that you're under the threat of chargebacks. Uh, One of the big reasons that these big card companies, whatever, you know the ones, why a lot of
Yeah.
banks don't like not safe for work, while there is some religious undertone, we don't need to talk about that. There is another thing that
Well,
is very important, which is way more important actually, which is there are a lot of people that buy pornographic material. It's gone down in recent years, quite a bit actually.
hmm. What? Okay.
But
I can see that.
there's a lot of people that will just buy a porn video, watch it, get a quick nut, and then just toss it away. And banks don't like that. It costs money to transfer money, between a consumer and, a client, whatever you'd put it. And due to this, like, I can say that just working in the Lewid business, I've been doing this for about 8 years. It's like chargebacks are one of the most common things you see when it comes to aero development. You'll have a bunch of people, like, you'll have Stripe or whatever basically tell you, hey, blah, 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 blah. You have to go and talk to a Japanese bank today because somebody told them that you're a fraudulent account. Yeah, there's so much bullshit that you'll deal with as a not safe for work content creator that while these sites like Subscribestar and Fansly look a bit too niche to actually give you any sort of growth, they're going to give you way more growth. You're going to see less chargebacks because there's not as many, weirdos doing that shit to you because it's harder to get to the site. It's more obvious what the content's all about. Whereas, if it's Patreon, it's kind of it could be either one. I've pretty balanced. It's either not safe for work or safe for work.
All right, let's talk about degeneracy. I've made y'all wait long enough, audience. And once again, I'm sorry. I just need to talk about dev stuff because it's fun to talk to devs. I have a lore question for In Heat because me and Pew sat there for like 20 minutes trying to figure it out because we're both fucking stupid. Are the women in Heat anthropomorphic animals or are they animatronics?
So they're just to clear out, they are transformed from humans.
That does not answer my question.
God, I'm gonna have to be less cryptic. There are no robot. There is only human transformed into cute, fluffy animal-looking thing.
All right, cool. We're fucking anthropomorphic women. That's all I needed.
Yes.
How did you come up with your design philosophy for the girls? Because I don't know a single one of them's name. I feel very bad. The one with the biggest titties at the nightclub, Her, that one's my favorite because biggest titties. Also, she seems like she gives good hugs.
You're talking about Maddie.
Yes. How do you design your characters?
Well, we have a very like I'm not the only one that does the key designs. I like think of the theme and the theory behind the character, and a couple of the major characteristics like Sammy's a tiger and Niall's a cat and all that stuff. Um, as a team, I like focusing for especially like a starting cast of characters. Like let's put Poppy, Sammy, and then Niall next to each other. It's I want to make sure that the silhouettes of the characters are all distinguished, which they are, except for I mean
Yes.
there is a little bit of iffiness between Sammy and Niall, but I think the ears do quite a good job of that. Um, I look at what sort of fetish I want to accomplish with the character. So for Niall, I think you can figure out what fetishes I was going for. If not, I'm going to gaslight you right now. What are the fetishes associated with Niall?
Ah, shit. Cat girl,
Obviously.
dominant.
Hmm.
My inner black man was just like being blacked, getting blacked by a woman. Is that a thing? Can you
Yes.
do that? Like, no. Um, it's not gaslighting me. You're just putting me on the spot.
Name
You've
a
got that
horny five
femdom in
second.
there. You've got that
I say
femdom
I'm
in
also
there. You've got, a lot of good stuff in there.
yes,
And then we look at, okay, I want to move on from Niall because that character design's pretty obvious, and the name should be even more obvious of what I was
yeah,
thinking
Egypt,
of with that
Egyptian.
even deeper than that, friend.
Oh fuck! Listen, I'm
Burn.
a basic bitch. Don't tell him. Oh wait, I can use my tablet to look at the stuff. I can cheat.
When we look at like Poppy, you have the clown aura. What was really funny about Poppy is that we basically had a character design of a clown girl that was going to be in one of our previous projects. That has been shelved as of recently due to in heat, of course. And her name was Trixie, and she's this purple jester-looking girl. And when I was looking at Poppy, I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna reference Trixie with Poppy. Now that I think about it, I realize that's gonna turn into okay, that means that Trixie is now a Poppy reference rather than Poppy is the Trixie reference. But I was like, okay, what will save this game versus me doing anything else is to at least make sure that we have a bona fide Clussy in the game. As long as we have that, there's no way this
Oh,
this game can fail.
oh, you hurt me with that. Oh,
And with Sammy, she was originally supposed to be like at the end of every night, she was supposed to basically walk towards your room, slowly, kind of like what Ari does in the final boss fight, whatever. Um, Instead of getting in your face like Sammy does right now, Sammy was supposed to slowly make her way to your office, let herself in, and then depending on how many nights you survived, you'd be treated to a sex scene. She'd basically just snap her fingers, and Poppy, Niall, Sammy, not Sammy, Misty would be down there in the office ready to fuck you. She was supposed to be like this dominant force, also a bit of a ringleader, as you can tell from her outfit. And she was
yeah,
basically supposed to be able, okay, all the other girls are crazy, but I can immediately just flick my toggle my ability on, and now they just follow every explicit direction out of my mouth. So that's why she was a ringleader. That's kind of not gonna happen anymore, unfortunately. That original idea. So she's kind of just left with the ringleader outfit now, which fits because ringleaders and tigers are go hand in hand. But
yeah.
what could have been, dude? Could have been fucking epic.
I mean,
You've got Sammy coming down to the room, just opening up the door. You can't protect yourself against her, and she's just like, "You did
sure can.
so good. I'm gonna let you fuck Poppy tonight." And they're like, "Okay, let's fucking go."
My inner sad, lonely degenerate's like, but I want Maddie. She seemed like she'd be a good mom.
Oh, too
She's the
wholesome.
worst mom out of all of
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen, appearances can be deceiving. I said she looks like she'd be a good mom.
them. True. I will give you that one.
So I think we got to night 8 before Puce's internet just stopped. Can I be a little critical? Just like a little
Oh,
bit,
sure.
just a smidge. When we got to the plate, the wind, what is the green one's name? The white and green one.
Alrighty.
Yeah, when we got to her, and the game was like compromised. I'm like, Puce, do you know what that means? He's like, you're asking the wrong one. What are we supposed to do?
Oh, so if you play through the security office first, you'll see that Ari is a werewolf. So, um, in that room that you plopped her into, there is a huge window that basically just shows the moon. And she
Yes.
goes werewolf form if you put her in that room.
Taxi. Do it.
Yeah. So basically, you just
Oh,
kill the guy.
I was gonna
Hi.
say not sexy because we couldn't see anything. Because I'm like, how do we get in there and like fix it? And he's like,
There is no fixing.
I don't
Only
know,
sex.
but we couldn't see it. So what we're
I
saying.
know.
All right, dude, you forgot you weren't there. So on the flip side of that, once you get her, once the night starts, can you put her in there or like don't ever put her in there ever?
Um,
Because my game
when
player
it
brain was like, oh, the sky's still orange. She can be in there, but right when we open it, never, not past.
so with that, Ari's little interaction there, when it comes to like things that we've integrated within that level, the Ari integration was we talked about it for like I would say a day, and then we just plopped it in. I think yeah, honestly, Ari shouldn't transform if it is obviously sunny, so I'll look into that.
I may have found a bug or a cool Easter egg. I don't know. I'm taking credit for it.
Yeah, it's no worries. I'll get that actually reported, and I'll probably get it
Because
fixed.
when we were playing, we didn't really know what to do. Like we know to put girl with
Mhm.
client, but once that room was locked off, we were just like, "Fuck, do we do?" And he's like,
So,
"I don't know." I'm like, "I don't know either."
with the new update that we're pushing, you'll be able, granted, in that situation, it was supposed to be like an, oh crap, we've lost Ari, but it's actually kind of easier to do the game now because you don't have to worry about Ari's horny levels at all. But you're also kind of doing a bit more of the room shenanigans, as you know. Honestly, it's if a lot of people like making the game harder, so I was just like, go ahead. If you want to
Yeah.
make the game harder, just put Ari into the room. When a person discovers that putting Ari into that room causes this scenario, they'll probably never do it again. So it is
Well,
overall an interesting
well.
gameplay
Probably
mechanic, actually.
It's fun to
I'll
take the risk.
probably is the operative word in that sentence because we did it like 3 times.
Well, it probably worked. There's probably just no check for like the actual time when it came to
Yeah,
Ari. Or there might be. I'll double check it though.
fair. The dude who is always bitching about a threesome. Why can't we do that?
Well, you saw the latest animation, right?
No, I've
I
been
posted
a
it here.
little preoccupied making sure this episode goes smoothly. I
You're
have
doing a
to.
great job.
I don't feel
I
like
think
I
it's
am.
going well from a
If
side
not, we can
Um,
always wait until I get my AT and we could do a round two and just pick whichever one is better.
do you want to talk about other not safe for
I'm
work
fine.
games and
I
people?
mean, yeah, I'm fine.
Spirit Village, because Outer Side Games was like demo now. Please, everyone, play to make sure the demo works. And I'm like, I want to play this on my Steam Deck. and I'm like, there should be no reason why I can't play this on my Steam Deck. It's a Pokemon like game, but I feel like a game where I have to use a mouse and like click around would be infinitely harder on Steam Deck.
Oh no, the controller works for it. It's a little bit rough every now and then, but honestly, that was
Fair.
one of the most important things that I focused on when we recreated the game in the Unity engine, making sure that
All
the
right, so
controller felt nice.
when I buy my own version, I will definitely play it with controller because I can only play on a keyboard and
Yeah,
mouse for like
let me know
3
what
hours
you think about
maximum.
it, and if there's any adjustments that we could do to like, how it feels, let me know. The game is early in development, and granted, while we are trying to get it done, on a very punctual time, that, you know, this stuff happened.
I speak for all fans, all real fans. Do not burn yourself out. We will be here. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to play our other games and then come back when you're done.
However, I must say this as a not safe for work content creator that there's a lot of games that are made by content creators and sometimes they're not completed. Sometimes they are left for 8 years after a successful Kickstarter. Sometimes they're left in development hell, trying to get some sort of level builder built in or whatever. And the most I respect our I shouldn't even call them consumer. Our fans are fucking fantastic. They're great. I absolutely love every last one of them, and they're extremely patient. They're extremely nice, and they really like seeing what we do. And I don't want to
Yes.
betray that by giving them the same song that they've seen so much in the last, I would say, 10 years of the not NSFW uh, English sphere, growing. It, I
Yes.
don't want to
Cuz
disappoint the fans like that. And honestly, you have a lot of Arrow games that are so off with their times that they're doing like Christmas specials in the middle of April. Like,
I know who you're talking about. I'm not going to say anything.
what are you? There's a certain like standard that they're not standard. It's more like there's a lot of people in the world, and a lot of people are just have had rough days. Have had some of them have had the worst days of their lives. Some might have had the best days of their lives. Either way, these people come home from work, and the first thing they do is they go into your Discord and they chat in your community. And you're just going to act like a parasite on these people and just, yo, we're going to get this done, we're going to get this done. It's like, just why don't you stop organizing about what you're going to do and just start doing it?
Do it.
And
Yeah.
granted, Monster
So
Box has had its ups and downs. I understand that it's really hard to get certain things done. Like a lot of people don't realize how difficult a platformer is, or how different a game would be if you offer the different genders for your protagonists. There's a lot of work that goes into every single aspect of it. To have fans that appreciate every little piece of work you do for your game it is wonderful. But I do feel like a lot of other content creators are giving or have fans, and they're just kind of getting shit on the entire time. Like maybe they don't know, but
they don't.
but it's just unfortunate. And if we are to advance and get the ability to even have a AAA studio. if we want to advance our format, we have to kind of not have projects that are like that, literally.
Don't be CD Project Red. Well, no, that whole situation was the publisher. Don't be an overzealous publisher.
Don't be a publisher trying to publish on the PS3 when everyone has a PS4.
Yeah. we're not gonna
I
go
blame
that route.
that whole thing. That whole thing. If they didn't have to work on that generation of console, like when did Cyberpunk come out? Like literally, when did Cyberpunk come?
2 years ago. Noodle fact check. 2 years ago? Question mark.
Cyberpunk?
2020.
Fuck.
Okay, so 2020.
It's really been 4 years. It doesn't feel like
that
it.
released for the PlayStation 3.
Oh.
And the PlayStation 3 was released in 2000. Oh wait, I think that's.
You say those words.
Is that bad AI? There's no freaking way that it was released in 2006. Holy crap.
So, I'm going to assume you're around at least my age then.
I will be turning 30 in November. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wow. You are literally a year older than me. My birthday. When this comes out, I will be 29.
Oh hell yeah.
Because when
Happy birthday.
her episode comes out, thank you. When her episode comes out next week, I will be 29 on the day. But when this episode comes out, I will have been 29 for
when is that?
days.
Like November?
Birthday's the no, my birthday's the 23rd. Your episode should be out the second week of November.
Ah.
I haven't scheduled it out. First week of November? Yes, the 6th.
Well, if you want to release it on Thanksgiving, feel free to.
Fine. I'm just saying you don't work, quote unquote, work for me. We're gonna see if we can't find someone who's in the food play for Thanksgiving. So that's a problem for later.
Oh hell yeah!
After I take tomorrow to
Wait,
edit
you said food,
all
right?
the episodes. Yeah.
You do know that I've worked as a. Oh no, you don't. No one knows this. I was a chef.
No.
Oh, Lord.
7 years. Right before I became what I am now. I was working in opening up a restaurant.
But do you fuck
That's pretty
with
cool.
food?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Wait, do you do the food play thing?
I don't do food play, but I would sit down at one of those Japanese sushi bars where you eat it off the,
Conveyor belt or the woman?
waitress.
I've done that too. It's delicious.
Wait.
Both.
What?
I would do
Where the
both
fuck
ways,
are y'all
honestly.
going? That you can just
I'm
do
from
that.
Las Vegas.
Oh
Very
hell yeah,
expensive.
Vegas. No income tax.
Shut up.
Man, this Ohio bullshit
I can't
sucks.
relate. So I have a question. If with the right funding and the right company, and this was like a handful of years ago, do you think your games would have come out as like hentai flash games? My question.
No, I probably would have had Flash. I've talked to Zone 10 about Flash. Talked to a lot of people about Flash. Holy shit.
That's so interesting.
Probably yes.
'Cause
I would have, if you were to have given me a shit ton of money back in the day, and let's say I could have gotten a head start approximately around 2006, tried to work with Zone 10 immediately, or I would have had some sort of thing that was equivalent. Yeah. I would be so far ahead, honestly.
Interesting, cool, because I like to call myself old. I'm only 26. I still enjoy going back playing like old hentai games. I love them. They're dumb. They have a certain
They are dumb.
nostalgic feel.
Frank's Big Adventure, I think, was one of my first.
I don't want to name any of mine.
Super blowjob.
They're so old.
Meat and fuck.
Oh,
Oh god. Those are coming to
Don't say
Steam.
I'm
that,
so excited.
cause I'm gonna get
Such a
them.
I
fine
don't know
pedigree.
how to feel. And, uh, I there was one hentai flash game I played. I cannot brain. Come on, used to caffeine.
There's
Well, you're thinking
You,
about
it's
that.
basically well, it's basically just like a rhythm game because you have to hit the mouse when your dick rubs against your boobs, and that's it. That's the
oh
whole game. But the art was so fucking good, and I'm like, what the fuck was
I was
that
more
game
of a
called?
Mario is Missing kind of fan, and
Oh, I remember that Peach
Dusty's
game made
Castle.
by. Yeah, that was good. There's a lot of good, um, Flash, I guess, hentai animations and games. My absolute
Yeah,
favorite would have to be Waka Fuck though.
Oh,
The Zone 10 Yuri animation. Hella fucking good.
oh, what a
I have yet to see a Yuri animation that is that good. So,
make it yourself
one day I
one
want
day.
a nice game where there's a bunch of cute Yuri witches and they're fighting against evil monsters. It'll be great.
you guys remember Legend of Crystal
Oh yeah. Yeah.
or
I was a
Sex
part of their
Kitten?
forums back in the day.
There were
Oh my
so many
god.
Sex Kittens.
We will have your hentai
Sorry,
flash
I'm
game
just
episode
thinking
at
about
some
them.
point. She's having nostalgia moment. I'm going fuck. There's a lot of hentai games I just didn't play. I liked my five,
Oh
and that
no,
was it.
I've played a lot of them, a lot.
Well, speaking on older flash hentai games, how do you feel that from where we started to where we are now? Like how have you liked the progression? Do you wish it had taken a different turn? Like how do you feel? Tell me your thoughts.
So with progression, this is progression that has basically been around, I would say. Well, we have had Lewd games in the 1980s. They haven't been really that good. Well, no, there's a couple of good. We started out with like visual novels and stuff, and then we moved on
We're
to
still stuck there a
RPGs.
little bit. Mhm.
I do believe that if I don't agree with people saying that VNs are shit. I just think that a lot of people that write VNs for the sake of making money usually don't make very good VNs.
Okay, I felt attacked and I didn't feel attacked. I also don't really like VNs, but I will sit through it if A, the plot is good, and B, the sex scenes are
Yeah,
adequate.
like Doki Doki Literature Club,
Hey,
Katawa Shoujo, those two are pretty solid.
Fuck. Oh God.
Not
I
like
played
a
hey,
that.
lot of
I've
things I've
I've
seen,
played
but
Donkey Donkey Literature
mm,
Club all the way through a handful of times.
Oh no, the fuck the Doki Dokis. I feel like we got scammed because that was supposed to be an ARG for another game. And I'm just like, all right, fine, whatever.
we also have to remember that the nation that we're kind of competing against when it comes to writing visual novels, which is the great old Japan over there. They have
Okay,
so
true.
many creative people over there, so many fantastic ideas, so and ideas you would not ever expect to see. They will turn a protagonist into a vending machine and then sell 300 million copies or something of it. Like, they are
I still
really
need to
good at
watch
what they
that
do.
anime.
I don't think the United States at all can beat Japan's market capital on their fucking VNs. We would have to take so
Oh,
many lessons. But this was a question about like progression when it comes to loot games. We could talk about VNs later. Um,
okay.
this I would say that through the years of 2016 through 2023, it was kind of in a state where nothing was happening. But as of 2024,
Mm,
I see a lot of new ideas being popped out, more fleshed out content rather than dollar store RPG Maker games. Back in 2016, it just switched into this weird thing where we needed to have as much titty on screen as possible. And it just
yes.
became kind of like I'm not gonna say Honey Pop is bad. Honey Pop's a great game, but a lot of people looked at Honey Pop and they're like, this generates money, and then they just started making their own Honey Pops with half the effort put into them. And it was not looking good for hentai games during those years. Thankfully, Critical Bliss did release Orc Massage and a couple of other, games that kind of got the media looking at us. I mean, while Orc Massage isn't the best hentai game, and it is an in development game, but I do believe that Orc Massage kind of, when it popped and people were able to see it via Vinny Vine Sauce or Markiplier, that there was some heart put into it.
Yes.
And granted, there are a lot of games out there. I don't see that many people putting in heart in their lewd games. And I think when we see more people do it for the Luids rather than do it for the cash, we're gonna expand our market quite a bit.
I think we are not the forefront. We're not at the forefront of that yet.
Forefront.
I think we're just like dipping our toe in the water because I know for a fact, despite my not fear, I also do not like the Five Nights at Freddy style game. I can play your game and I will be fine. I think maybe you should have boss fight, and I'm like, Puce, we need to go back and finish playing the game. He said boss fight, and I'm like, there's no boss fight.
Yeah, there's boss
But
fights for both of the levels. My preferred one is, of course, the nightclub because I feel like that idea definitely has shit ton more foundation.
see, the fact that we are talking about a boss fight for a hentai game was non-existent 10 plus years ago. The fact we're having this conversation now is fucking great. I love that we're having it. Me and Puce are gonna have to sit down and figure out when we can go back and do that because I have questions and fears. We just need to we me and him need to lock the fuck in.
Yeah. When it comes down to like in Heat, like I know that there's a lot of things I want to do with hentai games, particularly to push the medium. In Heat does quite a bit, and hopefully it'll do more, especially if we get more story and more Easter egg content into it. But basically,
When
my
you mean
whole
when,
idea
not
is to push
if.
the letter until I die.
You've got like 50 years. I believe in
I
you.
can do it. I can push that letter into the mailbox.
There are also other games like Beat Banger, which I would never in my 29 years thought to go, I'm gonna put hentai in that rhythm
Oh,
game.
I've been wanting one of those games forever. I remember working with Kinky Fridays before Beat Banger was even released. Now it's like, hey, why don't we make one of those FAP Hero games I see on 4chan all the time?
Uh,
And they're like,
I
what's that?
uh,
I'm like, look at this video. Isn't this cool? And they're like, oh, but the, the budget was too much. Oh, guy fucking missed out on a gold idea. I tell you what.
he sure did.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think in like by 2030, that's a good time frame, we will have a at least solid hentai game for every game genre?
No, because
Yes,
I
I said
don't.
that sentence correctly.
If anyone wants to beat me on this, this is absolutely. I would love to be beat on this idea. I don't think you can have a Lewd fighting game with multiplayer,
Oh,
and
I
I
was just
don't
gonna
think
say that's what I
I don't think they
want.
can do a Lewd shooting game. I've tried to make a Lewd shooting game. I know what has to go into it. It's I don't even think it'll be a successful game. I don't think there's certain games that Luids don't really go well into. And those two engines, those two game types are pretty rough.
If I had the technical know-how, I would try to fight you on the fighting game.
Here's the
On
thing.
the fighting game,
I mean, it would work.
uh
Switch it
huh.
into a single player experience, make it like Final Fight.
Oh, oh, right. This is where this whole episode idea spawned from. There is a demo, I guess, of River City Girls, but it's a
Oh
hentai
yeah,
game. That's where this whole conversation
I met
started
those
from.
guys. They're pretty good.
Tell them to finish the fucking game. I need that. I need that.
You know
Not
what would
right
be
now. I need
funny?
that in like 2 years.
You know, I think they're afraid that
I
I
do. I
think
do
they're
too.
afraid, but they don't know that the I'm gonna be very careful about what I say here, but those guys in the shiny ivory tower like it too. I'll just say that. Oh god.
Here's my problem. You know what? This turned me into me bitching for like 10 minutes.
Joe Rogan does the
You
same thing,
can
don't worry.
use what you used. You don't have to make River City Girls. You can just reskin the game and make it something different. But you can still keep that. Incorporating all the techniques into the game would be difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Me and my friend got through the first 3 bosses of River City Girls 1 last month, and I'm like, this game's kind of hard. So it's not impossible. You can't do it. I'm just like, hey, we just need a simple experience to start off. Y'all can get your feet, your ankles, or your knees at this point a little more wet. So in like 2 or 3 years, you can make the game you want to make. Because that's how game development
I
works.
think
Everything's just practice for the thing you want. But I'm being unreasonable.
I think the problem is, and this should answer your question. River City Girls uses assets from the original game, correct?
I am not enough of a Way Forward nerd to know that. I'm gonna be real with you. The only
No
things
worries.
from Way Forward I like are Shantae and River City
Based.
Girls.
Basically
Thank
what
you.
I'm
Thank you.
saying
I felt that.
is that when it comes into there's a lot of art there. Not just the
Yes.
sex
Okay.
scenes. If
Fair.
you were to do a complete swap of everything, there's a lot of art you'd have to get done, and there's a lot of money in there. What we While sex animations, are great, they're usually not that many frames compared to like a flying kick or a somersault.
True.
So
True.
while they could do it, I think it would be too much of a process to do it. But maybe someone like, you know, Shady Corner or Fluid Logic or Monster Box could go to one of those developers and said, "Hey, I'll pay for the art. So let's just make the game work," and I think it would work just fine.
Hey, man. Let's talk about this after the episode. I'm willing to throw down some money.
Okay.
I don't have much to throw down, but I have some to throw down. Fuck going to Japan. I want my game.
Hell yeah, I'm heading to Japan next year to speak with banks in Japan.
Wow.
It's great.
Oh,
It's gonna be fucking great.
I won't be going until 2026.
Oh,
I'm like, fine.
prices are fucking insane, my friend. Like
Listen, I
2K
have
to
the
get a
money. I can
ticket.
go right now if I want. I have to wait for other people to get their money because they are actively choosing not to work. And I'm like,
Don't you just love it when people
if you
do
don't
that?
work, you're not gonna fucking go.
I know that isn't. I
Not
know. I
you. I'm
know
not
it's
talking
not
about you. I'm
at
talking about
me,
like
but
my
I
friends,
feel
my
very
actual friends.
added.
You feel
I'm
attacked. I
very.
know. I'm not talking about you. You had no. Even then, you have a fucking. I hope so. I'm enough of a weeb. I think I will. Okay, when I say weeb, I mean like actually Japanese culture. I don't mean where Puce is just like, yeah, I
Yeah,
like
don't expect
manga.
to see
I'm here.
Chainsaw Man. You'll probably see
Good.
Dragon Ball Z, but don't expect no
Well,
Chainsaw Man, Naruto, My
good,
Hero
good,
Academy,
good. Demon Slayer will
Demon
not
Slayer,
die.
not as much, Hella, not as much.
Really,
You're gonna see instead Idolmaster, Idols,
uh,
VTubers,
how? Wait. How
Spy
alive? Will
Family,
it be how?
Hella Hololive,
Wait.
Hella
All right,
Hololive,
cool.
Hella
I can.
Nizi Sanji. They have entire store.
Um,
Granted, Black Company is Black Company, but they have stores over
true.
there.
Listen, as long as I can get Suisei, Marine,
Oh,
Ina,
there you
fucking
go.
Watson just graduated.
I'm a Marina,
Uh,
Gura, and honestly, what's that one?
where's my phone?
New
Oh, my
Girl?
phone is. Oh, Narissa?
No, but she's a little bit of a memer herself.
Ibu?
I think that's it. Yeah, what's her name again?
What's her actual name? Koseki Biju.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
her
yeah. I've been
actual name.
recently watching her, and pretty fun.
Little shit. Just like I have never felt as old as I do interacting with her stream and her chat. I'm just like, I'm a fossil.
Oh, I'm used to that sort of dialogue, so
I hate it. I'm not used to it.
you gotta kind of get used to it
Um,
if you're a marketer.
well, I that's my other thing. I don't know how to be a marketer. I feel like we would be more successful if I knew what I'm doing. We just record, I edit, and I hope for the best.
I have some ideas, but
Listen, I am down to talk to people.
yeah. Overall, what are your plans with podcasts like this? Are you planning on hitting the big?
Ooh, I have a list. I have my list.
Ooh,
I have my list.
you're gonna
So,
hear this first, ladies and gentlemen. The list.
oh no, they know the first few
Oh
things.
hell yeah.
Well, our friend was going through it. I don't know if she still is. We have a mascot. We finally got a fucking mascot this year. We want to give her a voice. We asked our friend, and then our friend's life fell apart. Kira, we still love you. Please come back.
Oh, I hate it when that shit happens.
Oh yeah, it was cool. Things were bad, then they were cool, and then Twitch went ban. I'm like, Twitch, what the fuck are you doing?
Twitch is bad.
Okay, my plans are I'd like to make a sticker
Oh, that's easy.
and an enamel pin.
That's easy.
From there, I would like us to have an in-person episode somewhere.
Oh, there you go.
These two fucks live not on the opposite side of the country. Well, actually, Noodle literally lives like 6 hours away from me.
My programmer lives in Europe, and Aquapalo lives in Europe.
Oh, oh, so you're the
You're the
problem being
problem
the American.
Help me.
Listen, fuck 'em. We left for a reason.
Oh, we
Hell
left.
yeah.
So I work conventions, and one of our fellow staff is friends with the people that do the hentai conventions in Texas. And he said next year his job is to get me there.
Okay.
And
Are
I'm
you
like,
talking
how?
there's two conventions that I know of. There's Etchy Expo, and then there's
Yeah.
Sumino Con. I think I'm calling that right. SumiCon. Yes, which will be in Houston on the 25th through 27th of this year. And I'll be down there actually.
Cool.
Now I ask a
Have
question.
fun for us.
Are you working with Etchy Expo? Or are you working with Sumino? Or are you working with something else?
I don't know. He is still trying to figure all that out. I told him don't worry about it for the time being, mostly because I have to make sure I have time off to leave. But he's just going to introduce me to the people and go, "You're 30. You're almost 30. You're a grown man. Figure it out." And I'm like,
So
fair
mean.
enough. So he's going to introduce me to those people next year. Those are his words. I will reconfirm with him when I see him in 2 weeks. Think it is time for last call.
Yep. Or else.
For the uninitiated, last call is any final thoughts, comments, concerns, or opinions you have on today's topic. Noodle, we will start with you.
Okay.
Don't be like Pews.
You
I
just
swear to
threw me
God.
on the spot.
It is the noodle, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, for sure. You threw me on the spot. I'm blanking. How dare you?
All right, Fumo.
Hello.
Would you like to give any final thoughts, questions, concerns, or opinions while Noodle's brain starts when the hamster wheel starts spinning
I
again?
think we should delete the entire conversation about Honkai Third Impact.
We might. I have time to actually work with this episode. So we
Should
might.
I say something suck my dick? No,
If
that
you
would be
want
impolite.
it, listen.
I love boobies.
Any we know.
Yeah, I have no comments, questions, or concerns.
We know that.
I think twinks are hot.
That's fine. You and my boss would get
Hell
along.
yeah.
Twinks are okay. I like pegging them.
Oh hell yeah. That's a good closing statement right there. I am going to set my
Jesus fucking Christ. I like where hentai games are going. This was supposed to be a serious conversation about hentai in games.
We can.
That didn't happen. That's totally fine. We're par for the course.
Like I said, we should just redo the episode with the AT.
This might be our first double.
I don't mind that.
Because we do have a lot of really good stuff here. So yeah, we might. I will have to remember that for later. Yes, I like where hentai games are going. I do think we will be able to get a good hentai fighting game, maybe.
It's possible.
That isn't just nude mods in your fighting game.
It's possible, but what do you... You'd have to set yourself to be like, yeah, I'm Dom, and I'm a sub player. And then when you're a sub player, you immediately... Or would it be a struggle?
I would want to
Okay,
upload
I
my
gotta ask the real
BDSM
question
results,
here. How would you do that?
and that's how I want them to pick my fighter.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
How do you determine
it's
who
a
does...
regular fighting game.
So let's...
Whoever
It's
wins
a clash.
gets the top.
Okay, so whoever
Uh-huh.
wins gets the... So what do you do about the subs that are gonna just fucking sandbag?
That's hot.
That's there is no
I
ranked in
would
this
be
game.
the sub
There you
that
go.
sandbags.
That's fine. There is no ranked in this game. So
Ranked is proving
there,
that you
problem
want to be
solved.
the bigger top.
God.
No. Yes, but no.
Oh god, it's possible, but I think people need to be a lot more open about their sexuality.
True.
Granted, we have a sort of openness, but it's not. I don't believe it's what it needs to be. It's a bit more of a corpo like vibe with what we're doing right now. What we need is a wholesome human vibe. And once we get that wholesome human vibe where, sexuality is just cool and you can talk about it,
Yeah.
it's a normal fucking thing. When that occurs, I think that's when shit like multiplayer hentai games will be the thing to go to. I really do hope that I meet a oil rigger that can completely invest money into like a fucking hentai MMO because I think that's the next leap.
I was going somewhere completely different when you were saying that first part of that sentence.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
I think that would be the next step. And then once you have a hentai MMO, you can have the fighting games. But I think the first thing that's going to happen is that we'll probably have a platform fighter, and then we'll probably have a fighting game. I think it's a lot smarter. I don't know if that's the proper way to say that actually because I'm not that smart. But
smarter than me. I'm willing to meet you at those terms.
As soon as you have like a ERP MMO with actual ERP mechanics, I think that is when things will change. You've already seen the sort of cult-like community that VR chat has. Just combine that with the Final Fantasy XIV demographic, which
I don't want that. All those words you just said, I don't.
Some of those words are scary. I don't like them.
Back.
Oh no, I could say World of Warcraft.
No,
that's not a real game. They killed the they canceled the mascot.
Life for
so
free.
No, the game's not real.
Maple Story 2.
No, stop.
all right, guys. I think it's time to go.
Fucking hate Nexon. They took my Maple Story too.
God.
All right. If you liked this episode, oh no, wait, I fucked up. But I'm fucking up just like Puce. Fumo, where can the people find you? Even though this is mostly going to be all your people.
So you can find me on the website called FBI.gov. You can also find me on Twitter. We've got at MonsterBoxENT. You can find all of our stuff. If you go on E621 and type in heat, you'll find plenty of sexual animations to satiate your needs for the end of the night. And if you just want to join our Discord, it would be discord.gg/monsterbox. All one word. Pretty good.
As someone who only like lurks in the Discord, I highly recommend it. It is infinitely better than our Discord.
I don't know about that one.
I'll send you an invite.
I think all of those Genshin Impact people are lovely people.
There's only like 5 of them. It's fine. You've got nothing.
5's an army. What are you talking?
Yeah.
He don't know. He don't know. It's fine. It's
okay.
fine. All right. If that wasn't enough to sate you, you can follow us on Twitter, because I'm not calling it its other name. Facebook exists, kind of, sort of, not really. We also have a Discord, which I guess we should open up to the public and not just be invite only. For the Discord, because I am doing the spiel, and once I've hit the stop record button to ensure that all the audio didn't fuck up, I can do that.
That's great. I'm sorry for getting in the way of that.
No, you're fine.
You're fine. We have a Discord, which we should open to the public, so it's not invite only, which is something I need to work on because I've been busy trying to fix my life. If you do not want to use Twitter, Facebook, Discord, we are on all platforms of podcast streaming this. I fucked that sentence up and then recovered and then admitted my fuck up, so I'll keep it like that. We're not on one. I don't remember what it is. I said it last week, but it's not important. All right, but with all that being said, thank you so much for joining us, Fumo. This was an absolute delight. And yeah, I think I'm going to let the door go because it is fucking heavy and I've been holding it for an hour and a half. So, bye. Fumo, you got to say bye too.
Bye-bye, everyone. Buy my book.
All right.